Hello everyone, and welcome to my second league race with Apex Racing League. It's at Montreal in Canada, and you join me on the out lap for my qualifying lap, the one that I put in to get my grid position. So as you can see, I've already done a 1 minute 11.656 at the top right there. And I'm just warming up my tyres, ready to start a new lap. And as you can see in the top left, Onage is top at the moment. I believe he's done a 1 minute 11.3, there we go, 1 minute 11.355. So that's the time to beat. I need to beat my time by just over 0.3 of a second. So let's see if I can do it then. Go into rich mixture, braking nice into the chicane, bumping over the curbs nicely, but avoiding the second set of curbs. Get DRS open nice and early and using all the curves that I've got available to me. So crossing the line then, braking just after the 100 meter ball on the right hand side. Supposed to just tap that curb on the inside, but I did just miss it and just go over the curb a little bit on the inside to that second corner. Wasn't a brilliant first couple of corners, probably lost around about a tenth or so, but it's these corners that really matter when it comes to the first sector. You've got to carry a lot of speed through there and cut the curbs just nicely, which is exactly what I did. So DRS wide open once again then, braking just after the 100 meter board on the right hand side there. Once again you want your inside wheel just over both of these curbs, but again it wasn't perfect, but it was pretty good though. I'm currently 3/100ths of a second up on Onage, and I'm just over a tenth up on my previous time. So braking now down into the next chicane. So once again it was pretty good, but not perfect. So far I've probably about 1 to 2 tenths down on an absolutely perfect lap, but it's still looking pretty good. I'm a tenth and a half up on my previous. Now 0.125 down on Onage, unfortunately, but let's see if I can make it up in the last sector then. So as the car in front of me there gets nicely out of my way, does the Lotus. So DRS wide open then, hitting the rev limiter nice and early, braking just after the 150 meter board, got to be bouncing over these curbs nicely. Looks like I've absolutely nailed that chicane there. Bouncing over the first curb just nicely to carry lots of speed through the second section. So what's going to be then? So 1 minute 11.429. So I did gain almost a tenth of a second then in the last sector. So that puts me in second place. And as this is an edited down version of the league race, that will be the only lap you'll see. So now we shall skip ahead to see the final results then. Confirmation now, I did qualify in second place with Rani behind me. Just over a second, so me and Onage are over a second clear of the field there. So let's see how that plays out as we see a few shots of this Montreal circuit then. So expected position is where I've started there in second in my Ferrari. So it's a Ferrari 1-2. So going over to my strategy then. The reason I included this is to show you my strategy. So if you watch the X on the right hand side, as I delete that one because I want to try and do one stop, watch the X. It reckons I can get to lap 13 and my tyres will be dead by lap 14, but since I want to do a one stop, I've got to absolutely push it. So I'm going to set it to 16 laps, so 3 laps longer than the game thinks I can do. Challenge accepted. Just got to change it to prime, since it was still defaulting to the last setup, and I have got my fuel set to cautious. I find more lap time personally when I've got more fuel and I can go to rich mixture for longer, than having slightly less weight and not being able to go too rich for as long. That's just me. That's how I like to do things. If you're wondering about my setup, I've just gone for the default setup. If you go in the quick setup menu, I'm on the full dry setup. That's all I've done. Literally changed nothing else. No gear ratios, no wing settings, nothing. Just that setup. So, as I always like to keep things simple, the setup, don't I? So we're on the grid then. In second, as I said, Onage is just ahead of me. Just having a check through the information there. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and they're out and we're away then. Straight to rich mixture, trying to minimise wheel spin off the line, and I have done, but I did shift up a little bit too early and get a bit low revs. Going to rear brake balance there. Looks like I'm going to be able to maintain second as Onage runs a bit wide. Can I get the inside? No, he keeps enough speed through that second corner. So we're away from the grid then. I have maintained that second position. Looks like the top 3 are as they started so far. He's just pulling a little bit away from me there as I got a bit of dirt on my tyres, but not too badly. As I said, I'm trying to stretch my tyres out, so I need to be careful on the tyres, I would say, more than anything. So, half a second down on Onage, and 3 tenths up on Rani there. So, running a bit wide there in the chicane. Still getting used to this heavy fuel load. Still used for qualifying where I've had barely any fuel in it. To go into this race where I've got tanks at half full, because it's a 50% distance race then. 35 laps we've got to do, so still only half a second between me and Rani, but almost a second down on Onage. Onage's times are glitched. We've tried to fix it but failed so far, unfortunately, but you'll find that he'll slowly gain time. By the end of the race, he'll actually have gained about 5 seconds in terms of gap, but obviously we judge it on where his car is rather than what the actual gap times say. So 0.7, that should be about accurate just about now though, because it changes slowly over the race. We've worked out it's about a tenth or tenth and a half per lap is what he gains. So towards the beginning it'd be almost nothing, as there's yellow flags in the first sector there. Ooh, was Ownage in front of me there, just a bit of a wheelie. That's probably due to the lag rather than what he actually did. So purple first sector, as everyone should get. Ooh, as I went a bit wide there. So a second down now on Ownage. Looks like Ben has gone into third place, my rival from the last race. He's 2 seconds down on me though, so I'm not too worried about him at the moment, but he could probably close the gap down. So I need to be wary of that. So on to the second lap then. My first flying lap of this race. So 1.6 down on Ownage now, and 1.5 to Ben, so I've lost a bit of time. To Ben at least, in that middle sector. Let's see if I can get it back. Coming down into the last sector down this big long straight, so braking at the 100, well, actually halfway between the 150 and 100 metre boards, but it looks like that was way too late. Bounced over the second curb, got away with it, managed to avoid the wall, but don't want to be doing that too many times, so got plenty of fuel left then. So we now skip forward from lap 2 on to lap 5. So there's a few laps there where pretty much we just maintained the gap. I think Ownage pulled out a second or so on me and I've pulled it back again, so not a lot happened. As you can see there in the top left, I've pulled out some time on Ben, around 5 seconds or so. So it's just a battle of the Ferrari drivers now then. So once again, he does a bit of a wheelie there. So my fastest lap is now 15.6. So a little bit up my previous, not a lot, but a little bit. I'm now supposedly 1.5 down on Ownage, but I think that looks like around a second to me, so I could well be in the DRS zone. DRS zone isn't affected by it. So hopefully I can stay inside it, pushing very hard. Ooh, going over the chicane, they didn't want to be doing that. So I've started using my KERS now. I never usually use my KERS here, but I've used all of it, look, just to try and get close enough to him to get DRS. So supposedly 1.3 again, I think. It was less than that, so well within the DRS zone. That was the line that we just crossed there. So I should have DRS, even though he would have saved KERS now, so I probably won't be able to get past him. Yeah, he's way too far ahead of me. I won't be able to get past him on this lap, but it's giving me DRS, which is effectively free lap time, as opposed to not having it. So as you can see, I'm visually close to that. Looks like he locks his tyres, but I figured that actually when it looks like he's locked his tyres, he hasn't always locked his tyres. So 1.5 supposedly, yeah, again, I think that's less than a second now, isn't it? Looks like it is to me. So coming into this first sector then, he's still a little way ahead of me, probably just about within the DRS zone. I need to try and stay with him if I can. So trying not to cut the corners too much, as if I cut them too many times I will get a penalty. So 1.5 still down on him supposedly. I think if we ignore the actual figure and just take it relatively, because if it's only a tenth of a second per lap, at the beginning he's a second ahead of me and at the end he's only half a second, I think we can safely say I've gained on him. Just ignore the actual figure. Oh, I get loads of oversteer though out of that chicane. Did not want to be doing that. That's just lost me a lot of time, as once again I'm using my KERS at this point in the track, which I wouldn't normally do, just desperately trying to stay within the DRS zone. Looks like I have done once again. I've got a bit of KERS left this time, so I should be able to stay a bit closer to him. Looks like he's got enough KERS left though to stay comfortably away from me. I have air confirmation I've got DRS, so gaining on him, but not going to be able to catch him in time, unfortunately. So just trying to clip these curbs nicely, which I do indeed. Right behind him now then, if I can stay this close by that straight on the end of this next lap, I shall hopefully get past him. So these are locks up there, looks like, but I'm not sure if we did or not, but still very close to him then. I need to stay this close. I need to not really make any mistakes and not fall back from him. See, he's supposedly 1.2 over the line there. It's completely wrong, isn't it? So coming in then to the chicane, nailed that, so did he, but the gaps remained. Not too worried about that. Do I dive up the inside? Do I not? I'd leave it. He brakes fairly late anyway, so I'd rather just stay with him, which I have done. So I'm happy about that. It's like, whoa, as I get masses and masses of oversteer there, I have to correct it a few times in a few different directions. Just desperately trying to keep out of the wall and also trying to keep my foot in it a little bit, because I don't want to lose too much time. Oh, as he makes a mistake in that chicane there, that's giving me that time back. I'm in his slipstream. Looks like I'm gaining on him. Could I dive up the inside of this hairpin, sorry. Have a look at it, but no, he brakes at the same time as me. If I can just stay this close. Oh, let's have a look at the inside there on the exit. No, that's not going to happen, but I've got all my curves left, so I should hopefully be able to get him. He's trying to weave, just get out of my slipstream. Get me out of his slipstream. I'm close to him, and I've got DRS going down the outside then. Not going to bother trying to get the inside line. Looks like I'm comfortably past him. I am indeed. So that's it then. Lead of the race. On lap 8. He's right behind me there though, look. I need to try and... He's very close behind me. You can see another one of those glitches there in the first sector here, look. We get some yellow flags, despite that's been there the whole race, and it remains there the whole rest of the race, unfortunately. Which is rather frustrating. And I don't like overtaking there just in case I do get a penalty. But I think it might have been only me that got that, actually. I'm not too sure. A bit of a strange one. So coming into the end of this first sector then. So, not sure what the gap was, but when we crossed the start-finish line, it was supposedly minus 1.1. So, again, we can ignore that pretty safely. So I'm 3/10 of my previous then. I've had a good first sector. I need to try and push it to try and hopefully just squeeze him out of my DRS zone. So he can't get DRS on me and do the same thing I did to him. Save plenty of my curves there, as you can see in the bottom right. So hopefully I should be able to defend it coming out of this hairpin as long as I don't make a mistake. I have missed my apex, but I don't think it's really cost me too much. Yes, there's plenty of gap there with all my curves as well. I should comfortably be able to stay ahead of him, fortunately. So yes, I believe he has got DRS, has he? Not too sure, actually. Wasn't gaining too much on me, so but there we go, he couldn't get past me anyway. Wasn't a brilliant chicane, didn't take enough speed in there, but luckily he's not too close to me anyway. So we're into lap 9 then, into lap 10. We skip a lap there, go to the end of lap 11, into lap 12. That's 2 laps then, isn't it? So he's closed right up on me then. It's 15.8 my last lap, that's pretty good. That's the back marker there, it gets well out of our way. It's very kind of him. So, so I cut the corner a bit there, but doesn't give me a warning actually, surprisingly. But he makes a bit of a mistake there. I think he ran a bit wide. He's lost a bit of time to me, luckily. So supposedly cap's minus 1.4 again. It's not right. It's very frustrating that because we can't see how far he is behind me, but visually looks very close. Looks like I've got a lot of my curves left, but it looks like he could be close enough to get DRS, possibly even overtake me. As I'm really starting to struggle my rear tyre grip now, as you can see, constantly having to correct little bits of oversteer. Can't get the power down quite so early as I would like to. So being very careful then, going to rich mixture then. So coming out the corner, using all the rest of my curves, he's very close behind me, he has got DRS on me. Luckily, because I saved all my curves, I've been able to pull out a little bit of a gap on him. But he has got DRS, will he be able to catch up on me by the time we get to the chicane? He's very close to me, he's gaining a lot of speed on me. Will he be alongside me? Luckily he's not alongside me, but I'll make sure I go nice and slow in the apex. Oh, as I've lost it there and hit the barrier. I've touched him on the exit and I've half spun it. Lucky didn't quite spin it, so I'm able to carry on quite quickly. That was my mistake there. I don't believe he touched me. That was completely my mistake. I just tried to take that corner nicely and not let him past, but in doing so, I actually made myself hit the made myself hit the curbs, and unfortunately lost the rear end. As I said, I am losing rear grip with these tyres, so he lets me back past there though, because he actually did get a penalty for that, and he told me that he believed that he might have touched me, even though on his screen he didn't, but there is a bit of lag, so he lets me past anyway there, just in case. So I'm ahead of him once again, but as I said, I'm losing tyre grip, and I've got another 3 laps left to go then. We're on lap 13, and I'm coming in on lap 16, so it's not looking good. So coming into this hairpin there, as it looks like he only just made a bit of a mistake there. So again, can't look at the gaps coming up minus 0.3, but he's definitely further back from me, so it looks like after letting me pass, he's made a couple of mistakes, so he's quite a way back from me now. So that's good. Still got a few more laps though on these tyres. Going back to standard there, don't want to waste my rich mixture and use fuel unnecessarily. As you can see, I'm visually taking it easier now and visually constantly having to correct the cars. Only just coming to the pits then, only just has pitted. So, challenge on then. But he's pitted quite early, I think he'll probably be going for a 2-stop there. So 3 seconds of my previous. Still wasn't a brilliant lap though, was it, with that spin? So, this will be my first proper flying lap with these used tyres then. So only just now, well, I'm going to say 10 seconds, but again you can't judge the gap unfortunately. But we can do it relatively, so 10.6 seconds, so let's see if we can get that down by much. So 0.8 up my previous, that's because I didn't spin at the beginning of the lap. So into the second sector then, So it's 11.1 I've gained on him. But that's because he's got those cold tyres and he's only just come out of the pits. So we'll see if I can maintain that advantage at the end of this second sector here. So I'm still 8 tenths up then. What was it, 11.1 I believe, wasn't it? So what's going to be now? Here he is, coming into the minimap in view. It is a 10.5, so he has definitely gained on me. Gained about half a second on me in that middle sector alone. His tyres will still be a bit cold, so that's a worry. Do I stay out? Yes, I do. Braking. Normally go full throttle into the pits there. So it's interesting, if you just watch my steering wheel there, and also watch my mid-speed corners, they're a lot slower than they were at the beginning of the race. Despite having burnt off a bit of fuel, I've just got no grip from these tyres, but I'm just trying to make them last. I need to make them last about another 2 laps or so. Then I can come into the pits and get me a nice new set of tyres. So still trying to push hard, but just trying to be careful. Ooh, as I get a bit of oversteer on the exit there. So as I said, trying to push hard, but also desperately trying not to spin, because that'll pretty much, not the end of my race, but it will certainly give Onage a huge advantage. So in the middle of this second sector then, coming to this next chicane. See again, visually taking it easier. Ooh, loads of oversteer on the exit there. Managed to avoid the grass and the wall fortunately, but certainly isn't the quickest way to exit a corner that. With the steering wheel all crossed up. So I'm only a little bit down on previous though. So you can see they're taking it very easy on the throttle on the exit. Usually I get the throttle down hard quite early, but I just couldn't do it. 8.5 back to Onage then. So he's gained a couple of seconds on me already. So I could pit this lap, or I could go in, could pit in next lap. I'm going to pit next lap. So I'm going to stick with my original strategy and just hope that I can make it to the end on that set of prime tyres. As it looks like Ben and Onage have both gone for 2 stops with how early they pitted, but if they can make it last, I'm sure they will carry on. I'm not sure which tyres they're on. Of course, if they're on the option tyres, they'll have to come in again anyway, because you have to use both sets of tyres, both the option and the prime. So I've got a bit of oversteer there, not that second corner, once again. So just constantly correcting it on the wheel. Just watch the wheel for a couple of corners. So only just a fast lap of the race there. Just so turning it in nicely on the exit. How's it looking? So, ooh, a little bit of snap. Ooh, quite a few snaps. See how many times I had to correct it there? That was twice, but in those 2 manoeuvres I had to take a bite at it a couple of times. And once again the chicane, watch my steering wheel. So a couple of corrections there. It wasn't too bad, but a couple of times I had to keep the rear end in check. So you shouldn't really get too much out of this hairpin, as it's more about wheel spin than it is about oversteer. As you can see on the right hand side there, my tyres are quite red because they're very worn. So only 5.8 back to Onage then, so he's almost guaranteed to get me then as I come out the pits. But as I said, I'm just hoping I can make my prime tyres last. We'll see then. So as I said, full throttle into the pits. So I go to lean mixture, as I don't want to use excess fuel while I'm in the pits. So coming into the Ferrari garage there, making sure my brakes are on rear. So bolt on a set of the primes. Just under 3 second stop again by the Ferrari boys, so it was a very good stop. So get ready to change my fuel mixture then, going to Rich. Looks like Ben, it's going to be very close with me and Ben. He's the one on the mini map there on the right, to the right of me. Looks like I'm just about ahead of him, as long as I don't make any too big mistakes. Looks like I've got away with it, but I have got cold tyres. So obviously he should be faster than me. I believe he's on the option tyre, but there should be a lot more worn than these are. But obviously, as I said, they're cold and these will be nice and toasty at the moment. Ooh, as I touch the grass on the outside there, it pushes me very, very wide and over the grass once again. Definitely not the fastest way around that corner. He was 1.5 back to me when we came through the, just before those couple of corners it was. And looks like he's well under a second now. Going to this next chicane. Ooh, as I go very wide once again, get more grass on the tyres. So really struggling with these cold tyres then. They do feel like they've got more grip, they've got more stability. Ooh, as Ben dives behind me there, I get out of the way just in case he's outbraked himself and he's going to fly into me. I just move to the middle just in case. So he's very close behind me there. You more than likely have DRS, but luckily it looks like he's probably used all of his KERS. Because I was using my KERS there and just easily pulling away from him. So fortunately, yes, I've managed to get away with it despite the fact he's got DRS. So managed to make the chicane. Looks like he's probably touched the wall there. Don't think he's done any damage, but that's given me a bit of a gap to him, not a lot. 7 tenths per second, we can rely on the gap to Ben. It's only Onage's times that are a little bit messed up. So 13.9 for Onage then, it's a very good lap. So he's just desperately trying to push, isn't he, and hope that presume he will be pitting again. Hope that when he pits again, he'll come out ahead of me, but we'll see about that. He's not too far ahead of me. Only 9 seconds. We'll keep an eye on that time as well as the time behind me. So 7/10 up my previous then. It's looking good. So what's the time going to be to ownage then? I believe it was 9 seconds, wasn't it? To ownage in the last sector. Let's see if I can reduce the gap, or at least maintain it. I'll be happy with, to be honest. 9.4, so it's getting a little bit on me. I'm 1.7 up my previous though, so I can't complain at that. Ben is very close behind me though, only 0.6 seconds, so luckily I have saved most of my curves once again, and I've got a bit of rich mixture left. So I've got away with that. Go through the gears, yes, plenty of room there. Go to standard mix nice and early. Pointless wasting my fuel. So bouncy over the first curve and avoiding the second curve, as I've mentioned. I found that's the quickest way through that last chicane. So it's a 14.9 then, very good lap as we skip a couple of laps there and to the lap where Ownage pits. So luckily Ben is still behind me and Ownage is coming to pitch. You can just see him on the mini-map there starting to exit, and once again you can see him, so got a reasonable gap to him. But obviously he will have fresher tyres and he will be able to push them harder because I'm still trying to make my tyres last to the end of the race. Got another 14 or so laps to go. Obviously he can push harder on his tyres. So it's 1.1 back to Ben now then. So it looks like I've been able to push a little bit harder as my phone rings in the background there. Sorry about that. Not great. I always do these in one cut as well, as I find it's easier. Otherwise you'll find that you get a lot of mix and matched sounds. So I'll sort of say something like, you know, just cross the line. Oh, and it will sort of, you know, go up and down my voice. If I do it on one cut, it's much more fluent, even if the phone does ring mid-recording. So 1.2 back to Ben now, sorry then. So I've managed to keep him over a second, which is good, so it means he's not going to get DRS him anymore. So hopefully that means I can pull away from him a little bit. I suppose the Ownage is a second behind Ben, but we know he's not. So let's see if I can gain any more then, as we cross the start-finish line. Lap 22, 1.9, so I've gained quite a bit on him. So luckily it looks like I'm able to pull away from Ben now. As I said, he's got the option tyres, so they're probably getting quite second-hand by now. So looks like actually, I believe Ben pitted before Ownage, so Ownage did quite a short stint there on the option tyres. I presume he's on the options in the middle. Yes, he was, yeah, he's on the options in the middle stint there. So he obviously did a very short stint, but whatever works for him, I guess. But Ben's now 2 seconds away from me, so pulling out a reasonably comfortable gap on him now, as his tyres are starting to go off, which is what I was hoping for. Which is my fastest laps now, 14.4 then, pretty good, but not as good as Ownage. Ownage, I believe, is in 13.9 or so, somewhere around there. So I consider going to Rich, but deem it unnecessary. Ben's getting a little bit on me there, but again I'm not too worried because I know his tyres will be quite second hand by now, and mine are still fairly handy. So as we come to the end of this lap then, it's bounced over the curbs a little bit too much then, but luckily Ben's still plenty behind me. So lap 22 then, now 23, so 1.8 down then. Ben is on me. I lost 7/10 on the last lap though, so it wasn't a brilliant lap from me at all. That'd be why he gained on me, because I threw half a second away. He only gained a couple of tenths on me, so confirmation there that he has indeed got very worn tyres, or at least he's got a slower pace, but I believe that's down to having cold tyres. Just still 1.8 back on me. So it looks like Ownage is definitely gaining, at least on Ben there, and presumably on me as well. Looks like he's got very good pace towards the end of this race, which is a bit of a worry. As we have got over 10 laps left to go, he could, it looks like if he carries on with his pace, he could catch me and overtake me before the end of the race. That would be not so good for me, since I'm in the lead at the moment and Ben has to pit again. So, looks like Ben ran very wide there. Don't know if he touched the barrier or not, but it looks like he did run wider than he would like to in that hairpin. So, up through the gears once again then, as we come to the end of this long straight. So looks like Ben comes in then. Ben comes into the pits. So confirmation there he is doing a 2-stop. They're both doing 2 stops and I'm doing a 1-stop. Looks like I probably can make it work, but I'm not too sure. So now we'll get a gap to Ownage, even if it's incorrect. As it says there's 2 seconds. You can see on the mini-map it's well over 2 seconds, but As I said, if we just take it relatively, so if that 2 seconds continues to drop, he's gaining on me. If it gets bigger, he's not, if you ignore the actual number. So what's going to be then at the end of the first sector? As he comes across the line now, so it's still 2 seconds, but I did do a purple first sector, which means fastest of anyone, and 2/10 up my previous, so because I've done a very good lap time. So I've now decided I'm going to push a bit harder, just to try and maintain the gap to Onage there. It's a bit of a worry that he's gaining on me so much. Still 2.5 up then on my previous, but not purple middle sector, so not fast to anyone. 2.1, so I've actually gained a bit on Onage there, using the rest of my curves down this long back straight in. You see my tyres are getting a little bit worn there, but not too bad. Looks like I should be able to get to the end reasonably easily. So got a pretty good lash gain. Ooh, got a bit of oversteer on the exit there though. Got a bit keen with the throttle. Crossing the line then. It's a 14.5, so not quite even my fastest lap. So we skip forward quite a few laps to lap 33 then. So Onage is now very close to me, in amongst the back markers. So it looks like it's a Toro Rosso, and there's a McLaren behind me, but I've just lapped him. So hopefully that Toro Rosso in front of me gets out of the way fairly sharp as it does to hold me up. He's not holding me up at the moment, so I'm not too worried, but hopefully he doesn't hold me up, as on the mini-map the car directly behind me is that McLaren that I've lapped. The car behind that is Onage, so he's very close now. I know there's only 2 laps left to go, but any kind of mistake from me and that'll be it. And I certainly don't want him in my DRS zone. Anyway, that always... That's all right, so there gets a bit of oversteer on the exit of the chicane. Fortunately lets me past. Oh, what does he? Still alongside me there. Still alongside me, he's braking with me. That's not great, that has slowed me down. Not too much, but certainly slowed me down some anyway. Not a lot though, say a 10th or 2 I should think. Not too worried about that. So it looks like he might have slowed Onage down a little bit as well. I think he's actually given Onage DRS rather frustratingly. But there we go. So that McLaren is Luke D there, staying with me very nicely. For a car that's a lap down, you'd think I'd be pulling away from him, but as soon as I've lapped him, he's just stuck with me the whole time. So fair play to him, he's got good pace at the end of this race. So lap 34-35 then, it's the penultimate lap. I need to hold on to this. Again, the gap top left there, minus 3.8 to Onage, that's obviously not right. If you just watch the mini-map, as I said, he's not the car directly behind me, he's the car behind that. So I just need to desperately try and keep a bit of a gap to him so he doesn't get in my DRS zone. Doesn't look like he's quite going to manage it this lap unless he gets it on Luke. But he could well manage it next lap, and that'll be the last lap of the race, so that'll be a bit of a disaster. So you can see I'm pushing hard there, running over the chicane, getting a bit of grass on my tyres. Sort of half gone to sleep really before this, just settled into a rhythm and didn't really push. Now I'm having to start to push again. So as you can see there, 3/10 of my previous. Confirmation of what I was just saying. Not sure if Onage did get DRS or not, but I know Luke will certainly have it, but I don't think he'll try anything on me. He's certainly gaining on me, but that's it. Wait, let me go to rich mixture there. Another glitch in this race. I touched Luke there a little bit. Didn't expect him to be there, but he was. He's pulled right over then for Onage, so it's just me against Onage then. No back marker between us anymore. Again, frustrating that we can't get a gap, but this is the last lap of the race, so still got to push hard because the DRS zone is right at the end, so he could very well get past me in that DRS zone. So as you can see, again, pushing very hard, getting a bit of grass on my tyres. So looking on the minimap then, see how close he is to me. Looks like he might be within a second. Oh, looks like he's made a mistake there. He's made a mistake. He's spun off. He's more or less stopped on the track. I don't know if he actually did a full spin or what, but he certainly spun enough to pretty much give me the win as long as I don't make any further mistakes. And Luke just sailed straight past him. So he's made a mistake there in the same place Vettel did. Was it last year? Yeah, last year, and Burton stole the win off him. So it was like running very wide there with all the excitement. Run very wide in the hairpin, brake too late. Just looking at the minimap too much and trying to concentrate on what's going on behind me rather than what's going on in my race. So 6.6 back to Ben then. He's not going to be able to catch me now as this is the back straight of the last lap. Lap 35 and 35 then. P1. One more corner to go. And that's that one dispatched off. So coming down then. The final bit of straight. And as you can see the confirmation, I am indeed first. Ben was second in the end, and Onage was third. He had a penalty, but that penalty was actually from when I spun, and then I tapped him as I was spinning, so debatable whether he should have got that, but in the end it was a first, second, third, and right down to fourth was the same as last race. So as you can see there, the leaderboard, that's my second win in a row. Still 100% of my results have been wins. Hopefully I can maintain that. I think I'll need to, because even if I get the win, in the next race, I might not even be able to go up position. If Fernie scores even a single point there in fourth, I wouldn't even move up. So it's all about just reducing the points to the leaders now. So as you can see there, I was around 33 points off the lead. So it's not looking brilliant for me there, but 2 second places in a row for Ben, 2 first places in a row for me, so it's 7 points per race I'll gain on him if I continue that form. So hopefully he doesn't continue that form and makes it a bit easier for me, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But that's this race dispatched of anyway. Another first position for me, so it's a very good race. Europe will be this Sunday, so looking forward to that one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.